Well, hello you guys. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the top 5 child serial killers. Subscribe for more content. Number 1. Nathaniel Abraham. Nathaniel Abraham was just 11 years old. He had borrowed a .22 caliber rifle on October 29th, 1997. And headed down the street to a hillside near a local convenience store in Pontiac, some suburbs located near Detroit, Michigan. It was then that Abraham raised his rifle and shot 18-year-old Ronnie Green in the head. This was a random killing in cold blood. But what on earth could possibly possess an 11-year-old to commit such a horrendous crime? Was it curiosity or was it anger? Who knows? But then Nathaniel was arrested and brought up on charges for homicide and faced life in prison. But the prosecution made the suggestion that the young boy be considered another trial for his release at the age of 21. He was released from Juvenile Detention Center on his 21st birthday, but it would only be 2 years before Abraham was in trouble once again. This time for selling ecstasy in 2009, violating the conditions of his release. He received a 4 to 20-year prison sentence as we speak. Number 2. Alfred Dacey. Although we are unsure what the boy looks like now, his crimes were never forgotten. Alfred was a schoolboy of 14 years old when he committed a murder outside of a school. Alfred Dacey was a very respectful boy, and details aren't exact on how the event came about, but we have old newspaper sources to go by and very little outside sources. But in May 1850, Dacey and another boy named Colin were hanging out near the Bedminster Iron Bridge in Bristol when another group came up, passed them and said some ugly words to Dacey and his counterpart. Immediately began calling the other boys vulgar names. A scuffle ultimately broke out. After more words were exchanged in several different locations, for quite a while, Dacey and his friend had followed the other three around and insulted them. Finally, Dacey, filled with rage, drew a pistol and ran towards William Broad, pointing at him and threatening to shoot before eventually pulling the trigger. Broad was killed. What the dispute was over is unknown, but Alfred was shipped to Australia, where he would serve a 10-year sentence for the murder he committed. He's been released a free man as we speak. Number 3. Luke Woodham was just 16 years old. On October 1st, 1997, was the start of his horrible killing spree. He had been a well-behaved young boy and student all the way up until that date, when something inside him snapped and took him down a dark road of rage and murder. While Luke didn't grow up in a particularly violent household, there were definitely some problems at home, and Luke was made fun of at school for his appearance. In 1997, Luke joined some sort of cult, much like the Vampire Clan, which was headed up by youth killer Rod Farrell. They were called the Croft and only consisted of 3 members. Even before that, Luke had been writing some pretty bizarre essays in class. The following assignment based on a prompt asking the students to describe what they would do if they spent the day as their teacher. As read, if I could spend a day as Miss Neal, I would be very, very nice to Luke Woodham and pass him for the year. Then I would go crazy and kill all of the other teachers. Then I would slowly and very painfully torture all of the principals to death. Then I would withdraw all of my money in the bank and give it to Luke Woodham. Then I would get all of the other teachers and principals' bank account numbers, withdraw all of the money and give it to Luke Woodham. Then I would do acid. Then I would get a gun and blow my brains out all over the dog and leave my house to Luke Woodham. It seems as if his mind was slowly cracking and going insane. Then October 1st would come and Luke would murder his mother, Mary Woodham, by stabbing her to death. He then took a .30 caliber rifle and drove to school, handed his close friend his notebooks containing his diary, which would tell us a lot about the young murderer, and shot 9 of his classmates, killing 2 of them. Luke Woodham would be caught, tried, and convicted, and sentenced to life in prison. This was a truly, truly horrible event, as it was the first of a series of school shootings in the United States in the late 1990s, and helped to inspire many, many other famous school shootings. Number 4. Eric Smith. At the age of just 13, Eric Smith was bullied because of his thick glasses, his freckles, and long red hair. And one other quality, he had oddly shaped ears. These were believed to be a side effect of medicine his mother had taken for her epilepsy when she was pregnant with him. Police had charged Smith with the murder of a 4-year-old boy named Derek Robbie. The younger child had been strangled and had large rocks dropped on his head, and had been sodomized with a small stick. When asked why he did this, Smith cannot give a definite answer, and psychiatrists diagnosed Smith with explosive disorder, a condition in which a person cannot control inner anger. Smith was convicted and sent to prison. As of today, he's been in prison and has been denied parole 5 times. Number 5. Craig Price. Craig Price was just 16 years old when he began his horrific crimes. He killed 4 people in total, 1 murder previous to the 3 girls. Joanne Heaton, age 39, along with her 2 daughters, Jennifer, age 10, and Melissa, age 8, were found lifeless, blood-soaked, and brutally murdered in their home on September 4, 1989. They were stabbed so fiercely that the knife broke off in Melissa's neck. Police reported that Joanne had approximately 60 stab wounds, while the young girls had approximately 30. The authorities believe that the burglary was the suspect's main motive. The knife used was from the Heaton's kitchen, and the woman had possibly caught the suspect and fought against him. It was also believed that the burglar must have been someone from the Heaton's neighborhood, who would have obtained a cut or wound in the hand due to the force and number of the times the victims were stabbed. Craig was spotted by the police with a bandage on his hand, but was said that he had smashed a car's window. The police did not believe his story one bit. They investigated him and charged him after finding the knife, the gloves, and other bloody items when they searched Craig's room. He admitted to the crimes and to another murder that had taken place in that same neighborhood 2 years prior. The authorities already suspected him as the murderer in that case, which was similar to Heaton's and had started as burglary. Craig was tried and convicted before his 16th birthday and is still in jail to this day as we speak.